Welcome everyone. So today we're going to be drawing this apple using Gelatos by Faber Castell. In English we usually say Faber Castell or Faber Castell, but it's actually a German company from what I understand. So these are a type of, they're kind of a mixture of chalky and creamy, if you can believe it. They are color pencils. They look like little glue sticks, and you can twist them to get a little more or a little less. And the colors are very, very rich. So right now what I'm doing is laying down my undertone for the apple, and I'm outlining some highlighted spots that I want to shine in my picture. And I'm using a blending tool that actually comes with the set. And they have two types of blending tools that are in there. One is a little bit harder, which is the one that I'm using, and one is like a really soft sponge. And these can actually be used dry or they can be used wet. So I'm only using a dry technique today. So I'm just blending in the first green color and going around my highlights, and you can see how easily it blends. It's almost, I mean, it's so creamy that it mixes together so well. And once you mix it in, it barely comes off. If you can see on my finger, which I used the wrong color, I should use something brighter to show you that it doesn't come off. But I'm now laying over the red. That's going to be the red of the apple, of course. So just going over it, going around it, putting it, and I'm using the edge of the color. I'm not using it flat right now. I'm just using the edge of the tip, and you can also use it with a paintbrush. So I'm just dipping my paintbrush into the red stick and just kind of highlighting some areas where I want the red to show up. And now I'm highlighting the area on the apple, because you know how sometimes apples are red and green, of course, like in the picture. So I'm just blending it and highlighting where I want the red to go up, and I'll blend it more and more throughout this particular video. So just blending, 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 and going around, and you can see how it blends really well with the green that's already on there. And you can press a little bit harder to get it to mix better, and you can press lighter in order to just get wisps of the color. So this is what I'm doing right now, and I'm not trying to make it perfect. I'm just trying to show you how this particular item works, this artistic idol item works, because this is actually, I rarely use these. And matter of fact, this is probably only the second or third time I have used them. I rarely use them, so I just saw them sitting in my set of tools, so I thought I would bring them out, show you all how to use them, just in case you're curious and wanted to try them for yourself. They work really well, and I've actually never used them wet. I kind of like the dry look. It's pretty interesting. But now I'm using the edge of a darker green color, and I'm just highlighting some of where the green comes out near the stem, and just blending that in with the lighter green and some of the red. And you know, and you want to make it a curve, because this is an apple, it's 3D. The lines are not going to be straight, going straight out or straight up. You know, you want to try to give it a little bit of a curve that curves with the apple, so that you can see that it's a 3D item. And I'm trying to carefully blend around my highlighted area so that I don't go over it and cover it up. because I don't feel like going back and fixing that right now. And just blending in some more of the red, going around it. You know, you just, whatever look you're looking for, that's what you do. If you want to do an all red apple, then do an all red apple with some white highlights or whatever. But, you know, it's really up to you. I'm not trying to get exactly like the picture, but pretty close. And now I'm actually doing a mixed media technique. This is actually acrylic paint that I'm using to do the stem. And I also don't always like to use the tip of the brush. Sometimes I use the back of the brush to get a different look that I like. And this particular end of the of this little paintbrush is perfect for the size that I need for the stem. So I'm using it because you don't have to follow rules in art all the time. So do what you want and have fun with it. So this is acrylic paint. I did not wait for anything to dry. The gelatos, I did not wait for them to dry or anything like that. They're pretty much dry once you start blending it in. So I'm just directly going over them with the acrylic paint, and I'm highlighting some of the brown streaks that are at the top of the apple, and you can see it starting to look more and more like an actual apple. The more blending you do, the more colors you use, or how you use the colors really, because you can you don't have to use a lot of colors to get an effect, and you'll find that more and more. And you see now I'm using a piece of paper towel instead of my blending stick because I just don't want to transfer the multiple colors to my blending stick. So I'm using a little tiny piece of paper towel to go over the brown acrylic paint and to go over the red and green and blend them together a little bit more. And now, you know how apples have brown spots and white looking spots on them? I'm using the just very, very tiny dots of the acrylic paint right now, of the brown acrylic paint, to put the dots on there. And you know, it looks more and more, the little details that you put in, it looks more and more like your actual item. So I'm going to do that. And now I'm putting the light green or white spots, whatever you want your apple to look like. But I'm using the light green gelato to put the lighter spots on the apple. And you can barely see them in here, but it really adds to the apple, the little tiny touches that you do. So these gelatos are absolutely awesome. I don't know why I held the camera. Nope, it is very shaky. Just bear with me. But if you really just want to try something just for fun and you like to blend, this is a really good tool to use in your artistic arsenal. Enjoy!